Hi guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're talking about not necessarily what to collect, but how to collect. And I think, what you collect is real personal preference. I think it's fairly easy to discover what you want to collect because it's based on what you love. Ultimately, maybe people could gravitate towards collecting what other people are collecting, but at the end of the day, if you're a soccer fan, you should be collecting whatever player, team, league, or tournament that you follow. In my personal case, I have, a lot of Frank Lampard cards. I collect Chelsea cards, Huddersfield Town, and my league of preference is Premier League. World Cup is obviously a massive tournament that I love to follow. With that, there is specificity involved. You can't just say, oh, I collect Chelsea cards. There needs to be specificity behind it. For example, I like to collect all the Chelsea autograph cards that have come out, one of each player at least, and I've got over 100 of those. So, not really interested in different parallels as such, just getting the autograph of that player as an example. Um, so, yeah, essentially, that's my sort of take on what I collect. There are certainly other aspects of collecting that I do enjoy, but that is predominantly what I go for. But as you can see, collecting soccer cards has been around for over 100 years. So you've got different eras to collect in. And I've got cards within all of these eras. I do prefer collecting in the pre-modern space, which is from 1990 up until 2012. But of course, you've got the pre-war era, which is up till 1945-ish. I mean, these year sort of brackets I've kind of made up myself. You've got the vintage era there as well. But pre-modern really for me starts in 1990 as we see cards getting implemented more in in soccer sets. I think the 80s was predominantly sticker based. In the 90s, we see more cards coming about. And then, of course, the modern landscape, modern hobby product coming about in 2013. And then with the boom of 2020, we're seeing more ultra modern cards. So lots of eras, over 100 plus years to collect as far as cards go. Don't just be narrow minded and collect ultra modern stuff. Explore all the years, especially if you're if you're an Arsenal fan, you've been following Arsenal since 2000. Why not collect some of the cards from then, 2000 onwards, 2001, 2002, collecting the history of when you started supporting that club. So moving on, I'm not going to sort of educate you on what you should collect, but ultimately it's how you collect can be a very difficult challenge because there's sort of all this influence noise from card companies telling you to collect a certain way, influencers on YouTube like myself, and breakers, encouraging the hits in products. But ultimately, collecting should come with intent. There should be an intentional approach, and this is one of the approaches that you can have. Having intention, it's purposeful pursuit to buy a card that fits within your collection or long-term direction. And for me, this is the approach to have that builds good collections. And first of all, you need to know what you're looking for. But once you do that, then search on eBay. Search on actually predominantly eBay, really. That is where you can simply type in Steven Gerrard 2004. All those cards will come up and you pick what you like, whether it's eye appeal, rarity, importance, those sort of factors you can play into the equation. But ultimately, intentional collectors with this type of approach will lead to good collections. Then you've got the reactive approach, which is a bit more reliant on proximity and opportunity. And examples of this could be scrolling through social media, Facebook, Instagram stories, looking at seeing what people have available. And they could have something that fits within your collection, which could be great, bolsters your collection, but it can also lead to accumulation if it doesn't actually truly fit within your collection. And this type of accumulation can lead to clutter, collector fatigue, a collection that's harder to enjoy because it's not really specific enough to a certain goal. So reactive approaches can certainly take place through impulsive sort of environments, whether it's Whatnot, a live auction stream platform, a seller pops a card on the stream. They're raving about it, saying how good of a card is. It's a 30-second auction. You've seen other bidders bid. Do you want the card or not? You're in that process of quickly deciding if you want it. Does it fit within your collection? How much do I pay? Can I check comps in time? All of this sort of quick-natured drama is causing you to make impulsive decisions. Again, it can lead to improving your collection, but ultimately it's a bit risky in that front. I would certainly always gravitate towards having that intentional pursuit. And then, of course, you've got gambling, which is very much apparent in the hobby. Not many people actually describe it as gambling, but it certainly is. It's hobby product, personal rips. That's a form of gambling. Hobby product is expensive, and it's all about trying to get your money's worth or make a profit. So it's risky in that regard. People aren't buying hobby boxes to build complete sets. They're buying it to get hits to then sell on and hopefully make profit. And of course, there's a fun element to it. I get that. It's fun opening packs, and I certainly enjoy opening packs myself, but when it comes to hobby product, it's risky. And that's why people do gravitate towards breaks, and even card companies are promoting people getting involved in breaks because, hobby product is quite expensive to rip personally. Buying into a specific team in a break is actually arguably more risky, but at least if you do get something, it's kind of potentially fitting into your collection. Again, 80% of the time, you're not going to get your money's worth of breaks. And there's also razzes and raffles, which are raffles as well, which at least you know exactly what the prize is, and you know exactly what the odds are in achieving that prize. But ultimately, gambling elements are fun. I'm not saying you shouldn't be doing them, but it's not going to build good collections. At the end of the day, it's not. Intentional approaches will. That should be the priority for a lot of people. Moving on. Last couple of points I want to discuss. Collection appreciation, I think, is something that you should always, cards are small pieces of art, and you should display your favorites. You shouldn't just be buying stuff to store away and not appreciate. If you're storing them in a box and you're looking through them, fair enough. But I'm all about appreciating your cards, having them on display if possible, storing cards with care. The amount of times I see people sharing cards that they have recently bought, and they're within a crappy card sleeve, sticky tape over the top loader, scratched up one touch. I know this is a personal take, but showcase your cards with some care and real passion and purpose as well when it comes to maybe storing cards in a binder. Real purposeful placement of cards. And it's just I'm a super passionate guy when it comes to the hobby. Other people are a bit more casual, but I do really appreciate when people make the effort to store their cards and appreciate their cards, rather than just buy it and kind of forget about it almost. And then it comes with reflection as well. I think it's really important to look over your collection and really understand it, expose any cards that don't fit, so you can narrow down and have that, make sure that you have that specific approach, because as I say, specific collections make good collections, and it doesn't matter the price tag of cards, as long as all the sum of cards align, then I think that's a fantastic collection. So they're my sort of takeaways from this video. Hopefully you've learned aspects of how to collect and also how to fully appreciate your collection as well. Hope you've enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one.